Moscow station. Yes. Copy, and we can see the feed from the cameras.
The camera still hanging.
That's great.
There.
Yes. Here we are. Yes, you can see us now. No, these guys will stay with us a little longer.
Понятно, понятно.
Yes, we understand.
Ну, там камеру как-нибудь зафиксируй, и можно там сцену
And
прощания
please
начинать.
fix the camera somewhere, and we want to see the farewell ceremony.
Зафиксирую, это хорошо. Как ее зафиксировать, только непонятно.
I'll try to understand and to find a place where I can fix it permanently, where I can attach it.
Alexander Skvortsov on the left, Artemiev in the middle, Swanson on the right, as they say goodbye to their colleagues who they have been aboard the station with since May.
Saying goodbye to each other. Say it again. I didn't copy.
Все нормально, нормально, видим.
Everything is nominal. We can see how you're saying goodbye to each other.
A very close-knit crew. Skvortsov, Swanson, and Artemiev about to
Moscow station. All right, so I think they will be going and transitioning to the vehicle already. Yes, you have our go for that.
And the Expedition 40 crew now inside the orbital module, the upper section of the Soyuz TMA-12M spacecraft. One final round of photos, final waves, before they close the hatch and begin their preparations for undocking.
All right, let's count the crew members. 1, 2, 3. Yes, our crew is here. That's correct. So, please give us a go. Is this the right crew that needs to go home? Yes, everything looks right to me. Perfect. All right, you have a go to close the hatches. Please inspect the surface and the ceiling closely before closing the hatches. Yes, copy. All right, they will close their hatch first, and then we will close our hatch. That's correct.
The process of coming home for these three crew members begins an extraordinarily long day, a day that turns into about a 24-hour day, in fact, if not more. And there the hatch is closed to the Soyuz spacecraft at 2:48 p.m. Central Time. Again, hatch closure at 2:48 p.m. Central Time. Steve Swanson, Alexander Skvortsov, and Oleg Artemiev aboard their Soyuz TMA-12M spacecraft. They soon will place the transfer of power from the International Space Station to the Soyuz's onboard batteries, and will begin the process of conducting leak checks and donning their Sokol launch and entry suits.
Хорошо, наблюдаем, Максим, закрывай.
Yes, we can see everything perfectly, that you're closing the hatches now. Only one hatch. Yeah, that's correct.
Все,
Да,
вижу,
они еще
вижу.
дергают его пока. Сейчас.
Yes, they're closing their hatch.
Все, корабельная закрыта по телеметрии, Максим.
All right, we see it on our telemetry that the Soyuz hatch is closed. Great. We will be closing our hatch.
You see on the left side of your screen one of the Russian spacesuits, the Orlan spacesuits that are used for spacewalking activity. During Expedition 40, Alexander Skvortsov and Oleg Artemyev conducted a pair of spacewalks totaling almost 13 hours in duration, an aggregate total of almost 13 hours, to conduct assembly and experiment replacement work on the Russian segment of the station. Max Sarayev now beginning preparations and now closing the hatch from the Poisk module to the Soyuz spacecraft. This will begin the process of leak checks being conducted on both sides of the docking interface before the small vestibule between the two vehicles is depressurized to vacuum. That will be the final step prior to the command to open up the hooks between the two spacecraft, the station and the Soyuz, that have held the Soyuz tightly in a hard mate to the station for the past 5.5 months. The undocking command to begin the process of opening the hooks, scheduled 3 hours 9 minutes from now. A minute and a half later, we'll have physical separation. That is scheduled at 6:01 p.m. Central Time.
ЦУП Москвы, ГЛТС-1.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, we can hear you.
Слава, закрыли переходной, закрыли люк.
All right, the hatch is closed.
Значит, все в норме.
Everything is nominal.
Ролики зашли. Нахожусь на связи.
We will be here,
Готовиться.
and we are currently preparing for the undocking. And we will also give you the steps
Действий. Хорошо.
that you will need to perform. Copy all.
Люки закрыты.
Yes, based on our telemetry, we can confirm that the hatches are closed.
Пункт 8.1. Переход. 83 страница.
Page 83. Yes, that's correct.
Выполнили по КРЛ уже.
All right, so we have switched the EPS systems. That's correct. Okay, and let's proceed
Сейчас.
on page 83.
Елки-палки. Хорошо.
Copy all.
Работаем по 86 странице.
All right, please go to page 86 now.
ЦУП Москвы, с экипажем МКС.
Moscow station, we copied all. Our hatch is closed. What does your telemetry show? Yes, copy, and based on our telemetry, we can also confirm that the hatch is closed.
With the hatches closed between the International Space Station and the Soyuz TMA-12M spacecraft, the first act in this long scenario of bringing the Expedition 40 crew home is now underway. About an hour and a half from now, the crew will transfer to the descent module, the center portion of the three-section Soyuz spacecraft, where they will activate the descent module's atmospheric purification system. They will close the hatch between the descent module and the upper section called the orbital module, where the where the Soyuz's avionics are located. A good view of Reed Wiseman, smiling because he gets another couple of months on orbit.
Yes, no problem.
As part of his 5.5 months in space. He has become a social media darling over the course of his mission, and continues to send down breathtaking photos of the world through Twitter
Of how we remove the clamps.
and through conventional downlink media. The crew will be donning, the off-going crew, the departing crew will perform leak checks on their Sokol launch and entry suits once they don those suits, and then will depressurize the vestibule between the
for that video.
Descent module, and the upper section, the orbital module, which again contains the avionics and the forward docking probe that you saw in the field of view when the hatch was closed to the International Space Station.
Now working on page 86. Copy.
So between leak checks and suit checks, the process of bringing the Expedition 40 crew home is underway. Let's look at a couple of milestones that lie ahead on the road home for Swanson, Skvortsov, and Artemiev. We'll be back on the air at 5:45 p.m. Central Time with our undocking coverage. The actual undocking physical separation of the Soyuz from the International Space Station is planned for 6:01 p.m. Central Time. 3 minutes after undocking, the Soyuz's engines will fire for about 15 seconds in a separation burn of about half a meter per second to initiate an opening rate between the Soyuz and the International Space Station as it backs further and further away from the International outpost. Left on board, of course, the Expedition 41 crew at that point. The increment Expedition 41 officially begins at undocking of the Soyuz this evening.